Hi and welcome back to our channel. My name is Maya,
And I'm Jishan.
and in this video we are going to talk about the difference between an abundant mindset and a scarcity mindset, or you could think of it as a generous mindset and like a stingy or frugal mindset. So Jishan, what 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 does a scarcity mindset mean to you?
um,
I guess we can talk about like the attitude or the behavior.
mhm. I don't know about other people, but in my observation, I we all sort of have it, all had it or have it, and so for me would be it's not enough. So I have to do more because I have to work hard or earn more because it wasn't enough. So that's like a bad energy chasing towards something, and it's always like I want to have because um, it's you can have high expectation and still don't have scarcity mentality. But yes, that's like not enough. Somehow if something's gonna run out, and I guess that's how I would explain the scarcity mentality. And I have seen that. So yes.
Yeah, I think that's a really valid saying, and it's relatable, like the not enough part, because then you want to chase for more.
Yes.
Or you're either dwelling in and you're wallowing in self-pity because you don't have enough.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the word scarce, it means there's not much of. So then when we mention this, it's the negative version of it that's not empowering, that doesn't really inspire you to take action or change a situation. So yeah, like scarcity for me, is not having enough, and there's not much of. When I guess secretly you're comparing it to having more, so there's a comparison going on with scarcity.
Yes, it's just it's actually not being grateful for what you have.
Yeah, that also, because if you're in the state of gratitude, you're like, this is enough. Like I accept what's going on, what I have, and you're like pleased with what you have. So then on the other side, we're looking at abundance, an abundance mindset. So what is that for you?
So for me personally, that's the belief of enough. So how I like would be if I am so I'm always abundant about food, right? I know there's enough food, there will be food coming, I never ever thought in my life that I would run out of food. So that's that abundance is always there.
So you've got the belief that you'll always have enough or more than enough food.
Yes.
Yep.
And food is one of the biggest top survival in the planet. Survival needs in the planet. Yep. And I also feel like I would see myself how I would think about money before, and now I see how I think about money. And it didn't come easily, but I believe that money is an energy and it moves around from hand to hand, from people to people, right? So I do believe, and it came with a lot of practice and understanding of abundance, that I will I will have enough money. I have enough money, and it comes down to I I always thought that I can rely on self with something. So it's not always to do with money, but rely on self is that I have faith that things will work out for me, and I think that's an abundant mindset,
Mm-hmm.
because people, not people, just I think a lot of people do a lot of things because they feel somehow something need to be relied upon someone, or something which is nice, which is love, and which is nice to be looked after or taken care of, which, I have it as well. But it's also that feeling of it will work out for me,
Mm.
and that is for me. And it can be investments, it can be, money and property, and that works in the background. So I'm not always so how that plays out into the decision making on investments, if things, so I'm not moved by little things that did not go right. I am more inspired by the things that went right.
Mm.
And i I see that, and that's what's gives me drive to do more, and also the faith that's driving in the background.
Mm. So what I'm also hearing is that you believe that you can continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about nature,
Mm-hmm.
and how plants, they just keep growing and growing and growing. And I think from when I see that, it's a natural demonstration of abundance where it just keeps growing and growing, and then there's always more. There's always more. Then you're not going to run out, and you can expect more in the future. As well. So you just reminded me of that, because like, yeah, with the abundance, like spirit and energy, it's there's always more growth, and there's always more. You're not going to be stuck, or you're not going to like kind of rot.
Yeah, and especially now that we are, just gone through a pandemic. There is Ukraine and Russia war happening. There's a lot of negativity out there, and it's more time to actually um, practice. It's a practice, because you're going to a scarcity mentality. Then a practice, it's more time to actually work on that. There are more. Why do you feel that's going to be less? Like, if you really really go 7 step down to understanding why you're feeling there is not enough, it's actually nothing to do with maybe anything. That it's just a fear, some sort of fear, or you don't even know why you're feeling that.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling that's a go-to feeling. Some people have a go-to feeling. um, and I have learned a lot of abundance um, mindset from you, because you have a brilliant abundance mindset.
Thank you.
And you're just like, rainbows and sunshine. Look at your cup, it's so colorful. And yes, it's like, I sometimes feel I'm not that light, but you have that feminine energy on abundance. So yeah, tell the viewers, what's abundance mean for you?
Yeah, I will. I think there's a really valid point you just mentioned about fear. And just before I kind of share my take, the fear really makes you contract, right? And it's the opposite of growth. Like, you're scared, you're protecting yourself, you're shielding yourself because you're fearing loss or hurt or pain or death, that kind of thing. So that's scarcity, and that's not enough love and that growth and the good stuff, right? Whereas, yeah, abundance, you could look at it as love and like you're taken care of. There's this kind of solidness and a strength that you're going to be taken care of, that the universe will provide. So it's that opposite. Yeah, I'm just noticing that contrast as well between like fear, love, nurture. So you're being scarce, being abundant, being frugal, stingy, generous. Frugal and stingy, you're holding on, and then generous, you're like free to give. And there could be more other things, not just money. It could be your time, your care, your love, and other bits and pieces. Not, it doesn't have to always be about money. So I guess that links into my stuff. So I've talked about scarcity. So abundance as an attitude. Yeah, I think it comes down to a belief, and it's like it comes from the inside once again. where you think, or I think that, um, yeah, for the longest time, there's kind of just this embedded programming, you could say, that I'll always be taken care of also. And like, I'll never be without, or never be without for long. Um, yeah, like I'll always have all of my basic needs taken care of, because maybe because that's been my experience growing up. Like my parents took good care of me. So then I always trusted that and always believed that that was going to continue to come. And then we talk about growing beyond your basic survival needs, and entertaining things that bring you joy or bring you different experiences. I think sometimes I definitely think that I can't have something. I
No,
can't.
but that's
I don't
just
always
not.
think I'll have absolutely everything I want, but you still have that desire. And I mentioned this to you like earlier offline, that if I'm clear about something that I want, then nothing can stop me. So in a way, that allows growth, that allows progression, and it's believing that you can have more than what you have right now. So then that belief is really strong, but it also feels light and it feels possible, and like it allows for you to move. Right? There's energy of movement instead of an energy of being stuck and held back and held down and trapped and not free. So yeah, so if you think about abundance, it's freeness, it's giving, it's loving. It's just like you think about the sun as well. It's like radiant and just here you go, have some more light, no question. And yeah, like I'm not sure anyone could always stay on the abundance mindset. You need some variation just for contrast, and so you notice, oh, this is abundant, this is not abundant.
You can differentiate. Otherwise, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
know
you wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't know the difference.
That's a good point, actually.
And I guess how I see abundance play out in my life is when I go shopping. I feel empowered to go shopping and give money away as like sometimes I see it like a thank you to people for bringing me or selling me cool things, and then I feel like I have enough or more than enough to actually give it away, and then I in return I get all these cool things, and then that makes me feel fun. One of the really random things that I noticed over the last couple of years for me is if I have a bowl of fruit that's like really full at home, I feel abundant. I feel rich. And a bowl of fruit doesn't cost much. But when I look at that and it's full of different colored fruits and it's just full, and like I feel abundant and I feel good, and I need to tune into that again. It's just something I noticed. But if I can tune into that feeling and keep that going throughout my day, that will make everything so much better.
Well, it's so cute and so sweet. Interesting. That's one made me want to share, like what point I really felt abundant.
Yes, when?
For me, it would be the beach. It's the water. Like if every time I go close to the water, because it's so open, it's moving. And water and sun. So those two combination, I am heaven on earth.
So it feels vast and plentiful, right?
And that's just simple. But at home, it's the having a clean house.
Okay. What is that an abundance of when you have a clean house?
It would be, it feel more open and spacious. And open, spacious, and clean home also would be nice smell and candles. That's just feels.
So an abundance of pleasantness is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And personally, for me, another thing would be that I have balance. So self-abundance, that I have good balance in my life. That means I have enough working time, my fun time, my friends' time, family time, and then time for myself. So that could be just watching killing Eve on standby myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it was different way. The purpose of sharing that is just different ways to feel that. It just
Yeah,
wise.
and it's interesting. It shows up in different ways, but I think the feeling is it's going to be somewhat the same, no matter how it actually looks, because people can have an abundance of different things, or different. There might be some surrounded by an abundance of loving people, surrounded by an abundance of beautiful things, an abundance of time and freedom. But I think if you dig down, the feeling, the human experience is the same.
It's the same. Yeah. It comes down to that, like the fact that you can go, like when you go to the beach and stand in front of the water, you never feel once will ever run out, right? And then but are we really feeling that in other areas of life? So that's it. Like it can't even register in our head. Okay, oh my God, this is gonna dry up tomorrow. It's not.
I think what there is to learn from this is if you can transfer that energy, that feeling, to different areas of life, and you look at things from that same perspective and belief that actually there's plenty of whatever it is, even if you can't see it right now, but know that it can become more abundant. And another perspective I have is that you can think of the whole planet as yours and your playground, and that if you think about it, if you want something across the world, like you want to go on travel on a mega yacht or something, really, sometimes it doesn't even take money. Sometimes it just takes having the right conversation. Like you connect to the right 2-3 people. You might be invited as a guest to travel on that yacht, and you don't necessarily need to own it, but you get to experience it and live it.
And so owning that would be more hassle.
Yes. Yeah, in some perspectives, yes. But if you think of it from a non-attached place, you don't need to necessarily own everything to experience everything. But it's because we think with a confined mind mentality that we think the world is not accessible. So I think I invite you to look at things from a broader perspective and realize actually there's different ways to enjoy different things that you want to enjoy.
Yes, and it does come from a place of self-awareness. So at what point you would like to start looking into if you have a scarcity mentality or an abundance mentality. So for me, I didn't grow up understanding that. It's sort of through self-education, personal development, learning those terms and understanding that, applying it through life. It's not tomorrow it will change. It takes time to actually transform from not enough to be enough space.
Yeah,
and it's not just I'll at some point I'll get it. You might never stop that journey. It's forever going into. So it is, if you're on that journey, be patient, enjoy the journey rather than trying to be abundant all the time. That's it actually. So
that's so key, I think, because if you're not aware, you can't really make a difference to your own life. So it's just observing, maybe looking back the past few weeks or months and go, oh, did that come from a place of abundance and joy, or did I do this in the space of, oh, I'm scared and fearful of loss, kind of thing? And then from being aware, you can start to tweak.
Yes, and scare and fearful, anxious, which is not being clear of the future. If you feel that, you will not be always a good health, and it's a good sign. Like if you have an health issue, like say, where am I struggling with this mentally? What sort of thoughts coming through? And then that would be a good way to pick up and start working on that self as well.
I guess it's like sometimes you need the doctor's diagnosis to treat the issue. But if you have no idea, one day you could just be dead. I don't know why.
And
it's a bit morbid, but I think you get the point.
Yeah, and your body is great. I'm telling there's a problem. Like, listen to your body.
If you tune in. Okay, so what was your take on being frugal, stingy versus being abundant and generous? We'd love to hear from you. What was your thoughts before you watched this video? What is your thought and perspective now? Share
it with us on below, and we can't wait to hear from you guys.
Yep. All right. Give us a like on the YouTubes and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.